Toure, you seem very exercised about my interview with Robert Zimmerman. Tell me why.
Let me explain to you a little bit of what's at stake here. This is a major moment in American history, and America's reaching a bit of a boiling point in terms of dealing with this issue. And when we allow misinformation and obfuscation and people to be confused about the truth about what's going on, then we become part of the problem and not part of seeking a solution. And you became part of the problem by allowing Robert Zimmerman to come on your show and spread misinformation and perhaps prevarication throughout the waves, which we know many people will believe. I mean, the number one problem with having him on the air is the two of them, George and Robert, haven't spoken in years. And that comes from George Zimmerman's attorney. You know, at NBC in the hallways, we were laughing at you today. We wouldn't take him. Standards and practices at NBC wouldn't even let him get through the door. And you had him on the air and allowed the hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands or whatever number of people watch your show listen to what he had to say. And you weren't really challenging him the way that you needed to, the way that we needed you to, the way that other more responsible journalists are doing.
We spoke to Joe Oliver, the family advisor, about an hour ago. He rang George and Robert Zimmerman's father, who has confirmed there is no estrangement. They all talk regularly. So you're
Joe Oliver
is a
major problematic source in all of this. He is functioning as a major source of obfuscation. So we can't even listen to what he's talking about.
With respect, Toure, you've had your say. Let me just have mine. You are incorrect about the estrangement. You shouldn't believe everything you're being told. You've been very vocal. You tried to portray me as an unprofessional journalist who last night didn't challenge Robert Zimmerman. Anybody with a dispassionate mind who watched that interview saw me challenge him repeatedly throughout the 20 or so minutes that we conducted that interview. Let's play a clip and show you what I mean. How do you explain, as a family, the video that came out last night with your brother within, not much time after this incident, walking around unaided, perfectly okay, with no apparent markings to his face? I mean, if you get a broken nose or the kind of head injuries sustainable from having your head smashed on a concrete floor, you're going to have blood everywhere. You're going to have visible injuries. There is nothing. I mean, we're looking at the images now. There's no visible sign of any attack. How do you explain that?
We're confident the medical records are going to explain all of George's medical history.
Now, unless I'm mistaken, Toure, that is a clear challenge by me about the veracity of what he's telling me. So what are you talking about?
Well, what did Robert Zimmerman say in response to that? And what did you say in response to his response? I heard you tried. I appreciate that you are among those of us who agree that George Zimmerman said coon on the tape. I saw you try to push him on that issue. He obfuscated and allowed those who want to believe that he didn't say coon, which is rather clear to many of us. You allowed him to sort of prevaricate and say, well, maybe it wasn't, and maybe it's a different word, and you allow him to talk about he's the most honest brother. How would that even be quantified? And why is that not challenged? You allowed him to say he was going to Target and not a neighborhood watch. What are you talking about?
Yes, Toure, calm down. I don't wish to give you a lesson in how to be a professional journalist.
Well, you couldn't do that.
If you let me finish, if you watch the interview back, you will see that I challenge him repeatedly about that particular choice of words that his brother used under his breath, repeatedly, as any professional journalist would do.